Hey there, my wonderful friends. I'm so thrilled to be here with you today, diving into a topic that's close to my heart and I bet to yours too, how we can live healthier, happier, and stronger as we embrace our golden years. You know, there's something so exciting about this stage of life. It's like we collected all these incredible experiences, and now we get to use that wisdom to make choices that let us thrive. So, grab a cozy seat, maybe a cup of tea or coffee, and let's have a heart-to-heart about why so many of us are rethinking our old diets. And more importantly, what's actually working to help us feel our best. You might be wondering, why are so many people over 50, 60, or even 70 switching up what they eat? It's not just a trend, my friends. It's a movement. And it's happening because we're learning more than ever about how food impacts not just our bodies, but our energy, our mood, and even how long we get to enjoy this beautiful life. I mean, who doesn't want to feel vibrant, wake up with spring in their step, and maybe even keep up with the grandkids at the park? I know I do. So let's unpack this together with some real stories, a sprinkle of science, and a whole lot of practical tips you can start using today. First off, let's talk about why the elderly, or as I like to say, the wise and wonderful, are moving away from the diets they followed for years. For so many of us, the way we ate in our 20s or 30s just doesn't serve us anymore. Back then, maybe we could get away with late-night pizza runs or skipping breakfast without a second thought. But as we age, our bodies start sending us little signals, maybe a bit of stiffness in the joints, feeling sluggish after a heavy meal, or even a diagnosis like high cholesterol or diabetes that makes us pause and think, okay, something's got to change. Take my friend Diane, for example. She's 62, lives in Seattle, and used to swear by her classic American diet. Think burgers, fries, and a soda on the side. She loved it, and it was part of her routine for decades. But a few years ago, she started noticing she was tired all the time. Her doctor warned her about creeping blood sugar levels, and it was a wake-up call. Diane didn't want to feel like life was slowing her down. So she started exploring new ways of eating. And let me tell you, the changes she's made have her glowing. She's not alone, either. Studies, like one from Harvard Medical School in 2020, show that people over 50 who shift to nutrient-rich diets often see improvements in energy, heart health, and even mental clarity. Isn't that amazing? So what's behind this shift? One big reason is that our bodies change as we age. Our metabolism slows down by about 1 to 2% per decade after age 30, according to research from the National Institutes of Health. That means we don't burn calories as quickly, and those extra helpings of mashed potatoes might stick around as unwanted weight. Plus, our digestive systems can get a bit more sensitive. Foods that used to be no big deal, like spicy chili or greasy takeout, might leave us feeling bloated or uncomfortable. And let's not forget about muscle mass. After age 50, we can lose 1 to 2% of our muscle each year if we're not active or eating enough protein, which makes staying strong and mobile a bit trickier. But here's the good news. We're not stuck. Changing what we eat can make a huge difference, and it's never too late to start. Let's dive into what's working for so many people, and I promise, this isn't about boring salads or giving up everything you love. It's about finding foods that make you feel alive, strong, and ready to take on the day. One of the biggest game changers I've seen is a focus on whole, nutrient-dense foods. Now, I know nutrient-dense might sound like a fancy term, but it just means foods packed with vitamins, minerals, and all the good stuff your body craves. Think colorful veggies, lean proteins, healthy fats, and whole grains. A 2019 study from the American Journal of Clinical Nutrition found that older adults who ate more whole foods, like broccoli, salmon, avocados, and quinoa, had lower risks of chronic diseases like heart disease and type 2 diabetes. That's not just a statistic. That's a ticket to feeling better every single day. Let's talk about someone who's living proof of this. John, a 68-year-old retired teacher from London. John used to rely on processed foods because they were quick and easy. Frozen dinners, canned soups, you name it. But he started having heart palpitations, and his doctor suggested cleaning up his diet. John was skeptical at first. Change is hard, right? But he started small, swapping out his canned soup for homemade veggie pack versions, and adding a handful of nuts as a snack instead of chips. Within a few months, Not only did his heart health improve, but he also had more energy to enjoy his daily walks along the Thames. He told me, "I didn't realize how much my food was holding me back until I gave my body what it really needed." How inspiring is that? Now, one specific approach that's gaining a lot of traction is the Mediterranean diet. You probably heard about it, and for good reason. It's less of a diet and more of a lifestyle that's delicious and sustainable. It's all about fresh veggies, fruits, whole grains, olive oil, fish, and even a glass of red wine now and then. A 2021 study published in The Lancet found that older adults following the Mediterranean diet had a 25% lower risk of cognitive decline. That means not only are you helping your body stay strong, but you're also keeping your mind sharp for all those crossword puzzles or family game nights. I love the story of Maria, a 59-year-old from Chicago. She grew up in an Italian-American family, so pasta and meatballs were her comfort foods. But after a prediabetes diagnosis, she decided to lean into her heritage with a Mediterranean twist. She started cooking with extra virgin olive oil, loading up on leafy greens like spinach and kale, and enjoying grilled fish a few times a week. She even kept her love for pasta but switched to whole grain versions and paired it with veggie-heavy sauces. Maria says she feels like she's in her 40s again, and her blood sugar levels are back in a healthy range. Plus, she's having fun experimenting in the kitchen, which makes it feel less like a chore and more like an adventure. Another reason people are ditching their old diets is to reduce inflammation. Inflammation is like a sneaky troublemaker in our bodies. It's linked to everything from arthritis to heart disease to Alzheimer's. Foods high in sugar, refined carbs, or unhealthy fats, like those found in fast food, can fuel inflammation. On the flip side, foods like berries, nuts, fatty fish, and turmeric can help calm it down. A 2020 study from the University of California, San Francisco, showed that older adults who ate anti-inflammatory diets had less joint pain and better mobility. Who would want to move through life with a little less ache? Let's meet Barbara, a 65-year-old from Bristol, England. Barbara used to love her daily scone with clotted cream. Classic British comfort, right? But her knees were starting to protest, and she was tired of feeling stiff every morning. After reading about inflammation, she decided to try adding more anti-inflammatory foods to her plate. She started her day with a smoothie packed with blueberries, spinach, and a sprinkle of chia seeds. For lunch, she'd have a salmon salad with a drizzle of olive oil. She didn't give up her scones entirely. She still treats herself once a week, but she says her joints feel so much better, and she's even started taking yoga classes. Barbara's story reminds us that small changes can lead to big results. Now, let's not forget about protein. This is a big one, especially as we age. Protein helps maintain muscle mass, keeps our bones strong, and even supports our immune system. The recommended dietary allowance for protein is about 0.8 grams per kilogram of body weight, but some experts, like those at the American College of Sports Medicine, suggest older adults aim for 1.2 to 2 grams per kilogram to stay strong and active. That might sound like a lot, but it's totally doable with foods like eggs, chicken, beans, Greek yogurt, or even a scoop of plant-based protein powder in a smoothie. I want to share the story of Tom, a 70-year-old from Austin, Texas. Tom was always active. He loved hiking and biking, but he noticed he was losing strength and recovering slower from his workouts. His daughter, a nutritionist, suggested he up his protein intake. Tom started adding a boiled egg to his breakfast, a grilled chicken breast at his lunch, and a handful of almonds as a snack. He also tried Greek yogurt with fruit for dessert. Within a few months, he was back to crushing his bike rides and even signed up for a local 5K. Tom says, "I didn't realize how much protein was like fuel for my muscles. Now I feel like I'm aging backward." Another trend that's helping people feel amazing is cutting back on sugar. I know. Sugar is in everything, from our morning cereal to that sneaky afternoon cookie. But too much sugar can mess with our blood sugar levels, increase inflammation, and even affect our mood. A 2018 study from the University of Warwick in the UK found that older adults who reduced their sugar intake reported better sleep and less anxiety. That's huge, right? Better sleep means more energy to enjoy life, and less anxiety means we can focus on what makes us happy. Take Sarah, a 61-year-old from Melbourne, Australia, but originally from New York. Sarah had a sweet tooth. She'd end every day with ice cream or chocolate. But she was starting to feel foggy and irritable, and her doctor pointed out her blood sugar was creeping up. Sarah didn't want to give up dessert, so she got creative. She started making fruit-based treats, like baked apples with cinnamon or frozen banana nice cream. She also swapped sugary sodas for sparkling water with a splash of lemon. Sarah says she feels clearer-headed and has more energy to volunteer at her local community center. Plus, she's discovered she loves experimenting with naturally sweet flavors. Now, let's talk about something that's super practical: meal prep and planning. One of the reasons people stick with unhealthy diets is convenience. It's so easy to grab a fast food burger or heat up a frozen meal when life gets busy. But with little planning, healthy eating can be just as convenient and way more delicious. A 2022 study from the Journal of Nutrition Education and Behavior found that older adults who planned their meals were more likely to eat a balanced diet and save money on groceries. Win-win. I love how my friend David, a 66-year-old from San Francisco, has mastered this. David used to rely on takeout because he thought cooking was too much hassle. But after a mild heart scare, he decided to get serious about his health. He started batch cooking on Sundays. Think big pots of veggie chili, grilled chicken skewers, and roasted sweet potatoes. He portions everything into containers, so all he has to do is grab and go during the week. David says it's not only saved him time, but also made him excited about eating foods that make him feel good. He even shares his recipes with his neighbors, turning meal prep into a fun community thing. Another approach that's working wonders is listening to your body. This might sound simple, but it's powerful. As we age, our bodies give us clues about what they need. Maybe you notice you feel bloated after eating dairy, or you're extra tired after a carb-heavy meal. Paying attention to those signals can guide you toward foods that make you feel your best. A 2020 article in the Journal of Aging and Health emphasized that older adults who practice mindful eating, paying attention to hunger, fullness, and how foods made them feel, had better digestion and overall well-being. Let's meet Emma, a 64-year-old from Manchester, England. Emma used to eat the same meals every day out of habit: sandwiches for lunch, meat, and potatoes for dinner. But she started feeling sluggish and noticed her stomach wasn't happy after certain foods. She began keeping a little food journal, noting how she felt after meals. She discovered that dairy was making her bloated, so she switched to almond milk and plant-based cheeses. She also found that eating smaller, more frequent meals kept her energy steady. Emma says, "It's like my body and I are finally having a real conversation, and it's changed everything." Now, I want to touch on something that's not just about food, but about how we eat, enjoying meals with others. In many cultures, especially in places like Italy and Greece, eating is a social event, and it's no coincidence that those communities often live longer, healthier lives. A 2019 study from the University of Oxford found that older adults who ate with family or friends regularly reported higher life satisfaction and lower rates of depression. Sharing a meal isn't just about the food. It's about connection, laughter, and making memories. I think of my friend Michael, a 67-year-old from Boston. Michael used to eat alone most nights, often in front of the TV. He didn't think much of it until he joined a local supper club for seniors. Now, he meets up with friends once a week to cook and eat together. They share stories, try new recipes, and have a blast. Michael says it's not just the healthy food that's made a difference. It's the joy of being with people who lift his spirits. He's even started hosting potlucks at his house, and his grandkids love joining in. Okay, let's get into some practical tips you can start using right now to make your diet work for you. These are simple, doable ideas that don't require a complete overhaul of your life. Ready? Here we go. Start with one swap a day. If you love your morning toast, try whole grain bread instead of white. If soda is your go-to, try sparkling water with a slice of fruit. Small changes add up, and you'll be amazed at how they make you feel. Load up on color. Aim to fill half your plate with colorful veggies and fruits. Think red bell peppers, purple cabbage, orange carrots, and green spinach. The more colors, the more nutrients you're getting. Don't skip protein. Include a protein source in every meal: eggs, chicken, fish, beans, or even a handful of nuts. It'll keep you strong and satisfied. Hydrate, hydrate, hydrate. As we age, our thirst signals can weaken, so make a habit of sipping water throughout the day. Add a slice of lemon or cucumber for a little pizzazz. Plan for success. Spend an hour on the weekend prepping ingredients. Chop veggies, cook a batch of quinoa, or marinate some chicken. It makes healthy eating so much easier during the week. Treat yourself mindfully. You don't have to give up your favorite foods entirely. Love chocolate? Have a small piece of dark chocolate instead of a whole candy bar. It's all about balance. Get curious in the kitchen. Try a new recipe each week. It could be as simple as a new way to roast veggies or a different spice blend. Cooking can be a fun adventure. Eat with joy. Whether you're dining alone or with loved ones, make your meals a moment to savor. Light a candle, play some music, or set the table nicely. It makes every bite more special. Now, I know change can feel daunting, especially if you've been eating a certain way for years. But here's the thing, you're not alone, and you don't have to do it all at once. Every step you take toward a healthier diet is a step toward a brighter, more vibrant you. And the science backs this up. A 2023 meta-analysis from the British Medical Journal found that older adults who made gradual dietary changes, like eating more plants and less processed food, had a 20% lower risk of mortality over 10 years. That's not just about living longer. It's about living better. I want to share one more story before we wrap up, because it's just so inspiring. Meet Patricia, a 72-year-old from Toronto, Canada. Patricia was diagnosed with osteoporosis a few years ago, and she was worried about losing her independence. Her doctor suggested focusing on calcium-rich foods and vitamin D to support her bones. Patricia started eating more leafy greens, fortified almond milk, and salmon, and she made a point to get outside for a daily walk to soak up some sunlight. Hello, vitamin D. She also joined a local cooking class to learn new recipes. Not only has her bone density stabilized, but she's also made new friends and rediscovered her love for cooking. Patricia says, "I thought my best days were behind me, but I feel like I'm just getting started." So, my friends, what's the takeaway here? It's that your diet is one of the most powerful tools you have to live a life full of energy, joy, and possibility. You don't need to follow a strict plan or give up everything you love. It's illusion. It's about making choices that nourish your body, lift your spirits, and fit into the life you want to live. Whether it's trying a Mediterranean-inspired meal, adding more protein, or just savoring a meal with someone you care about, every little change is a victory. I'm so excited for you to start this journey because I know you're going to feel amazing. You got the wisdom, the strength, and the heart to make these years your best yet. So go out there, try something new on your plate, and let's keep shining together. Here's to healthy, happy aging and to all the delicious moments ahead.